Hey, what's going on guys, my name's Raf, and Pokémon Horizons is now over 50 episodes into its series. There's been a lot of cool and impactful episodes, and this series has proven itself to be a nice successor to the Pokémon anime we're used to. With Liko, Roy and Dot continuing with their adventure, the question of them being in the same timeline and universe of Ash Ketchum is still unanswered. So in this video, I'm going to analyse what details have been shown that could relate or maybe not relate to Liko and her friends being in the same world as Ash Ketchum. Don't forget to leave this video a like, show your support, and be sure to bring out my next video shortly. Make sure to subscribe to the channel already to keep up to date, and without further ado, let's begin. Let's start off by talking about Ash Ketchum's current whereabouts. Episode 147 of Pokémon Journeys was the last episode to feature Ash Ketchum and Pikachu in the Pokémon anime. From what we know, they are still travelling the world of Pokémon, with Ash striving towards his goal of becoming a Pokémon Master. If you want to learn more about what happened to Ash Ketchum, then you can check out this video. There has been one interview that has given us a more accurate answer as to where exactly Ash and Pikachu are now in the world of Pokémon. In a recent interview with Variety, the Pokémon Company International executives spoke about the launch of Pokémon Horizons on Netflix. During the interview, they were questioned if this truly is the end of Ash and if we'll ever see him reappear again in the Pokémon anime. They responded by saying the following: "We've said farewell. Ash is still in the world. Anything is possible. In the world of Pokémon, there are so many possibilities. We hope Ash and Pikachu continue on their journey. Their journey is ongoing somewhere in the Pokémon world. It's totally up to our fans' imagination, but for the time being, we will have to focus on a new story of Liko and Roy, and Horizons invites a new beginning." So from this, Ash and Pikachu are still out there somewhere. Where exactly? We don't know. Will they ever come back? We have no idea. But let's now explore Pokémon Horizons. Throughout this series, its narrative has combined elements from both the Pokémon games and the current anime we've known. Some of these details revealed have raised the eyebrows of viewers, as they could either favour towards or against this anime series being in the same timeline as Ash. First, we have episode 19. In this episode, we see Liko and Roy visit Motorstoke in the Galar region. Motorstoke was first mentioned in episode 100 of Pokémon Journeys, where Ash planned to take a train there from Winden to meet up with Go at the Motorstoke riverbank. Now looking at the city's architecture and surroundings, it doesn't tend to show a lot of wear or aging, implying that not a lot of time has passed from when Ash was last around the city and its proximity. However, the next episode is where things start to become clearer, and this is where we get the full introduction and focus of Kabu, the gym leader of the city. Kabu never made an appearance in Pokémon Journeys, however other Galar gym leaders such as Bee, Alistair, Opal, Piers and Raihan did. Depending on the continuity of this series and the timelines, this could mean that Ash and Liko are both connected in the same timeline due to the presence of these characters that are still representing the league. Looking at Kabu as well, he doesn't seem to look any different to what his game counterpart looks like in terms of age, implying that maybe not a lot of time has passed as to when Ash was adventuring. The only thing that could have helped concrete being a possible connection is if Kabu mentioned about the Darkest Day plot, and how the Galar region was affected by this, relating to the events that Ash faced during his journey. Plus we have also seen characters like Cynthia shown in different universes, even alongside another version of Ash. So the possibility of another Kabu existing in another timeline isn't fully ruled out. So due to this, I'm gonna have to put this connection in the maybe section. Next, we have episode 27. In this episode, Liko and her friends come across a character being the ingredient seller. We first saw this character appear in episode 101 of Pokémon Journeys, where they supplied Ash and Go with curry ingredients. As soon as this character was revealed, the community was going ballistic into thinking that it could be an indicator towards Ash and Liko being in the same timeline. However, due to these NPCs not being a single person, and the fact there are multiple of them in the games, it's not as easy as just saying yes as from what we know. Even though Ash and Liko have both visited the Galar region and encountered this character, it could have been that they are just two separate individuals. Plus if this seller mentioned Ash or referenced him from a previous manner, then that would have been an easy way to validate this. So for this reason, I'm going to put this also in the maybe section. Moving on, we have Captain Pikachu. Besides being another strong Pikachu, there's one detail from this little guy that could imply that Liko is in a different universe to Ash. In episode 44, Friede and Spinal encounter each other for the first time. During their battle, Spinal ends up mocking Friede for using the Pokemon, questioning if Cap even has a chance. Instantly, this gives me the indication that Pokemon Horizons is in another universe, because after Ash's Pikachu helped him become world champion, a battle televised across the world of Pokemon and different regions, surely Spinal or even Friede would have vouched for Pikachu. Unless the explorers are so oblivious and underground about other world events, which I don't think they are, this proves that Cap was an element that could very much imply that Pokemon Horizons is in a different universe. Now let's talk about Lucius. Lucius is a very interesting character, and could play a huge part in proving that this anime series is in a different universe to Ash. Firstly, he is titled as the Ancient Adventurer, as Roy described him back in episode 4. It was then in episode 12 that we learned that Lucius gathered the 6 heroes, which are a group of ancient Pokemon, with 4 of them being legendary. Whilst I understand that Pokemon Horizons has adapted a new plot, surely you'd think that Ash would have even maybe got this plot associated with him in a special episode or movie, right? Plus, if Ash even knew about Lucius, and how strong he is compared to overtowering Tobias, then I think this would have been much more apparent. Of course, with Ash leaving the anime, it doesn't really help his case. So for now, I'm going to put this in the opposite category. This then leads to Terapagos, a very special Pokemon that also could be the key in helping solving the mystery. In the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet games, Terapagos can alter timelines to some extent. As seen both in the games and anime, it has the capabilities of bringing humans, Pokemon and objects, all from other timelines altogether at the point of time and space it's currently in. In the anime's case, Terapagos was able to share visions of Lucius and his Pokemon from the past. I personally think that with all of this amalgamated together with the plot of Pokemon Horizons, it could very much be that Liko is in a different universe to Ash. The plot just seems very diverse to the usual, and with a character like Lucius weighing a great importance on this with Terapagos, I don't think this could correlate to Ash's journey. Finally, we have Gibeon. The boss of the Explorers was first teased in episode 45, and it wasn't until episode 54 that we got to see him live in the flesh, and how he mentioned how he was aiming to get back to Rayquaza, a place where Lucius lived happily with his Pokemon. From this motive, I again think that this series is in another timeline, simply due to the previous points in relation mentioned about Lucius. I was also going to touch upon Gibeon's red core Zygarde, but there's still little to no information about how this Pokemon was caught. Of course, we've seen various Zygardes and shiny variants of legendary Pokemon in the past, relating to different timelines and realities, but it's best to wait a little longer for us to fully learn a bit more about it. Overall, the table shows that it's not looking good, Riv, and it seems this series is in a different timeline to Ash Ketchum. Horizons has shown literal to no indication of Ash's profound effect as a character, and win as world champion. With everything mentioned before, it seems that there are many aspects that are unclear. The only alternative I could think of is that maybe Liko is having a separate journey to Ash at the same time as him, and this is where we come into the final topic of discussion. Throughout the course of both trainers' development, they have grown into mature and confident characters. Both of them share very similar goals to one another, and there's one of them that resonates so well, implying that it could be a very big game changer on how both trainers could potentially meet in the future. Let's get one thing straight here. We know there is no one like Ash in the anime, however it seems Liko has made it evident that she follows a very similar goal to Ash, and that goal is almost if not on par of becoming a Pokémon Master. In episode 146 of Pokémon Journeys, Ash spoke to Pikachu about how he was still aiming towards his goal of becoming a Pokemon Master. During this conversation, he explained that learning to befriend the Pokemon in the world is the definition of this term. From this statement, Ash set out to continue on his journey and left the anime. Moving on to Liko, in episode 21 after obtaining Hatenna, she set herself the goal to learn more about Pokemon and how to befriend them. And in episode 53, she validated that she wants to connect and befriend Pokemon of all kinds. Ash and Liko may not have met one another or even know about each other's existence, but it's fair to say that they do share the same goal. By this logic, it could indicate that Liko wants to also become a Pokemon Master like Ash. The term Pokemon Master has a lot of elements that tie into its meaning, and that's something I'm going to explore in the future. But for now, it's fair to say that even though we don't know if these characters are in the same universe as one another, the writers definitely wanted to show the similarities and connections between them. And this is why I feel that maybe one day they could meet. And here's how. Putting aside the debate about universes, I truly think Ash and Liko could meet one day. Here are 3 examples. The first is that Liko ends up learning about Ash becoming world champion. This could maybe either be in a special episode as she continues on with her journey and learns about Ash before meeting him live in the flesh. The second option is that Liko could compete in the Paldea League and maybe Ash could appear as a challenger. It could be maybe in an exhibition match that may act as a special event to commemorate the anniversary of the anime and of course his return. But I think the final option is looking more likely, and this is where Ash and Liko will meet in the final episode of Pokémon Horizons. I predict that after her adventures in reuniting Terapagos and Rayquaza, Liko ends up coming across Ash. It could be like a traditional route where they're both walking and she ends up crossing paths with him as he's arriving in the Paldea region. To the audience, we would all get the hype reaction of knowing who he is, but in Liko's eyes, she's oblivious to who he is, and he could even be a sense of motivation to her, telling her to keep aiming towards her goals, just like how he is himself. That leaves us now with one final question. Will Ash and Liko ever meet? Horizons has proven itself to be its own series, completely separate to the usual anime timeline we're used to, and because of this, it's uncertain if we'll ever see these two characters interact. If the writers decide to implement Ash in some manner and confirm the canon timelines, then that will probably be the best bet. But right now, with the way Horizons is, I don't think that could be the case, and the best idea would be just to reintroduce him as maybe as an older character, or in a special episode with maybe another Ash just like in other special episodes, and maybe they could even introduce another Liko from an alternative universe. But only time will tell if these two will meet in the future of the Pokemon anime. Maybe I'll even make a fanfiction about it. who knows. But why not let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. If you guys would like to interact with me, then be sure to follow me on Twitter and join the ThePokéRaf Discord server to discuss all things Pokemon. You can find the rest of my social networks on the screen and in the description below. If you enjoyed the video, then be sure to leave a like, as your support is greatly appreciated. Don't forget to share the video with your friends. Finally, make sure to subscribe to keep up to date with my videos, and click on the little bell to enable notifications so you guys get notified when I upload a new video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and be sure to stick around for more Pokemon content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.